A trailer that's just blown me away, it took me by surprise, is The Adjustment Bureau. I saw it yesterday. It's coming out on the 17th of September. And I sort of knew about this film, but I haven't been following it intensely. And the trailer looks amazing. From this trailer, I just got so excited about this film. I find the trailer really takes the film seriously. And I'll get quite a bit in detail about what this film's about and who's in it, etc. The thing I liked about this trailer is usually at the end of a trailer there's a little bit of a reprise, there's a little cheesy note or a big special effect or something. And this didn't have it. It just went to the title and basically showed how serious this film is taking itself. There's a great line in the film where Matt Damon's sitting on the bus and Emily Blunt looks at him and says, "Were you just staring at my legs?" And Damon says, "I was defenseless against the dress." So I thought that was a great line. But a little bit about the film. It's based on a short story called The Adjustment Team by legendary science fiction writer Philip K. Dick. Philip K. Dick, in my opinion, is to science fiction what Stephen King is to the horror genre. He is one of the quintessential science fiction writers of modern time. A little blurb on Wikipedia about him. In addition to 44 published novels, Philip K. Dick wrote approximately 121 short stories, most of which appeared in science fiction magazines. So far, 9 of his stories have been adapted into films, including Blade Runner, Ridley Scott directed. Total Recall, Paul Verhoeven directed that. A Scanner Darkly, Richard Linklater directed that. And Minority Report by the great Steven Spielberg. So he just hits the mark all the time, Philip K. Dick, with his literature being converted into film, and this looks like it's also going to hit the mark. In 2005, Time magazine named Ubik, one of Philip K. Dick's novels, as one of the greatest English language novels published since 1923. Sometimes in literature, poetry, music, film, or in any art form, you get someone who produces massive amounts of work, like King in the horror genre, like Philip K. Dick in the science fiction genre. You also get someone like Philip K. Dick who not only produces a massive amount of work, but who produces a massive amount of amazingly, truly great work. And he's definitely one of my favorite authors. The story, The Adjustment Bureau, is loosely based, as I said, on Philip K. Dick's The Adjustment Team. Matt Damon will play David Norris, a former university basketball player and charismatic United States congressman who seems destined for national political greatness. He meets a beautiful ballerina named Elise, who's played by Emily Blunt, only to find that strange circumstances keep them from becoming romantically involved. Norris finds that forces are at work to keep them apart, and he peels the layers to find out why. The action takes place all over Manhattan. Matt Damon, who plays David Norris, is, according to Forbes magazine, one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. We saw him recently in The Green Zone. Next, we're going to see him in this, The Adjustment Bureau, on the 17th of September, this year, 2010. We will afterwards, in the next month, see him again in Clint Eastwood's film, Hereafter. It'll team up Matt Damon and Clint Eastwood again. They did Invictus, which Matt Damon played rugby captain Francois Pena. And just on a little side note, Matt Damon was here in South Africa with Clint Eastwood shooting Invictus, and people who met Matt Damon and Clint Eastwood only had amazingly great things to say about these two. Then Matt Damon on the 25th of December is going to be in Joel and Ethan Coen, the Coen brothers film called True Grit. My friend Alex did a show on True Grit, which you can watch also on one of my channels. And then next year, Damon will be in Contagion. So Damon's doing film after film and great film after great film. Emily Blunt, beautiful star on the rise, recently in The Wolfman and The Young Victoria. I remember her as the bitchy character in The Devil Wears Prada, which I thought she was great in. And she'll be in massive films, like in 22nd of December's 2010 release of the Gullivers Travel, which is now going to be in 3D. She's the voice of Juliet in the massive animated film Gnomeo and Juliet, next year, February. So we have Emily Blunt, Matt Damon in this Philip K. Dick film. I saw how beautiful the film was shot and looked up. It was one of my favorite cinematographers, John Toll. The music in the trailer was amazing, and I looked up James Horner. So this film has got all the stars aligned. It's been directed by George Nolfi, who's the writer and producer and director of this film. He wrote The Bourne Ultimatum, The Sentinel Ocean's 12 and Timeline. Terence Stamp's also in the film, who was recently in Yes Men and Valkyrie. I also saw John Slattery, who plays Roger Sterling in Mad Men, in the Adjustment Bureau. He was recently in Iron Man 2 as Howard Stark. So the Adjustment Bureau, due out 17th of September 2010, should be phenomenal.